Equivocation is really about telling the truth in difficult times. And Shakespeare lived in difficult times as we do. And I think the play came to me when I was in the Tower of London and I saw above the rack a sign, an official government sign, that said, "No person has ever been tortured here because of religion." And I thought, that's very strange, and certainly not the truth. And then I went up to a cell, or a number of cells, in which the names of people who had been tortured to death, or tortured, and some tortured to death, were engraved in the wall. They had done that, and they had written also their final messages to the world. And I thought, I'd like to write something that true. One word that would be spoken, if it was the only word I had to say, carved into the wall of a prison cell. And that was the origin of the play. No, it was a couple of years ago, and what happened was I was in London and I had that experience. And I was there for 2 weeks, and then I got on a plane and went home. And on the plane I said, this is absurd. I shouldn't be going home. So I got home, made reservations, went back, and just walked around and listened to the Tower. And the Globe Theatre is within shouting distance of the Tower. And I began to wonder about if the performance could be heard from the Tower, the firing of cannons. And I began to think about Shakespeare writing the reality of his time and the people who were living the reality of the time in the Tower, and the relationship of those two places. And that's the structure of the play, really. The geography kind of gave that to me. What I know about history, I know from Shakespeare. And of course, that's very dangerous, because Shakespeare was writing an official version of history. Shakespeare was the king's playwright, and he wrote to support regimes, and sometimes very, very corrupt regimes. So what I know about history has been changed very much by the writing of this play. Because what, of course, Shakespeare leaves out is the minority view. He's writing for the king. So anyone who dissented from that view is eliminated. Inclusiveness was forbidden at the time, and we now are a society about being inclusive. And the contrast, and theater is always about being inclusive. So the contrast between what he wrote and the idea of theater being a wooden O in which you could include everyone, that contrast is built deeply into the play. Guy Fawkes and the Gunpowder Plot are the founding myth of modern England. I was shocked at the level of acceptance of kind of a fundamentalist version of that event. But it parallels exactly for us in America our version of our own history. So I think you can never stop kind of questioning the basis of what your history is about.